This video will cover the replacement of inner and outer tie rods on a 1982 Volvo 240 with a ZF steering rack. This can be completed over an extended lunch. Start by identifying your steering rack. You will often find a plate on the rack indicating whether it is a ZF or a cam rack. You can also tell a ZF from a cam because the ZF bellows will rest on rubber bushings facing the outer tie rod, although whoever replaced my inner tie rods in the past used cam bellows and ditched the ZF bushings. Loosen the lug nuts on your wheels and raise the front of your car. Remember to use a jack stand with a large enough plate so as to not dent or bend the front crossmember. Place jack stands at the front mounting points. Place chocks on the rear wheels and engage your parking brake. Leave your jack under the front crossmember as a safety. Fully loosen and remove your wheels. Disconnect your tie rod from the steering arm by loosening the top nut. Cut the zip tie securing the bellow and move it out of the way. Bend back the steering rod lock washer from both flats of the rod. And unscrew the inner tie rod from the steering rack. A pipe wrench will make this significantly easier to accomplish. Open and inspect your new tie rods and compare them with your old tie rods. Slide your new bellow onto the inner tie rod, seat it onto the bushing, and secure with a zip tie. Apply grease to the inside of the outer tie rod and to the outside threads of the inner tie rod. I'm using Mobil 1 synthetic grease for this purpose. Assemble your outer and inner tie rods, matching the length to your old tie rods. Apply some more grease to the inner tie rod ball joint. At this point, I applied a liberal amount of red thread lock to the inner tie rod because my lock washer was an incompatible fit with my genuine Volvo tie rod. Screw the tie rod assembly into the steering rack, tightening with a pipe wrench. Secure the rubber bellow to the rack with a zip tie. Reattach your tie rod assemblies to the steering arms, tightening to 44 foot-pounds. Reattach your wheels and lower your car. Loosen your tie rod lock nut and check the toe of the vehicle. Do this by measuring the back and front of the wheels at the same height and at the same thread on the tire. I measured from the second thread from the outside of one wheel to the second thread from the outside of the other wheel for both front and back of the wheels. You want these numbers to be as close as possible, preferably equal. If off, tighten or loosen one or both of your tie rods using a wrench until the difference between measurements is negligible. Then tighten the lock nut to 51 foot-pounds. Take a test drive, get your car professionally aligned and centered, and you're all done. Enjoy your Volvo 240.